The war between humans and the Varelians had lasted for years. It started with a small border conflict over a mineral-rich world and grew into a galaxy-wide disaster. Worlds were burned, fleets destroyed, and cities turned to dust. Captain Ryan Cole, a decorated human warrior, had seen more death than he could remember. He fought for Earth's defense force, not because he wanted glory, but because he believed someone had to protect the innocent. Yet deep inside, he was tired of killing, tired of watching good soldiers die, tired of the silence that followed every victory. On the cold, broken surface of Eris IV, a ruined moon covered in ash and wreckage, Ryan's unit had been sent to destroy a Varelian forward base. The battle went wrong from the beginning. The Varelians, silver-skinned and fast as light, ambushed them from every side. Plasma fire lit the dark horizon. Explosions shook the ground, sending clouds of gray dust into the air. When the smoke cleared, Ryan was the only human still alive. His suit's life monitor beeped weakly. "All units lost," the AI reported in a calm, mechanical voice. He looked around, just fire, broken machines, and silence. He limped toward a half-collapsed bunker, searching for shelter before nightfall. Eris IV's nights were deadly. The temperature dropped low enough to freeze exposed skin in seconds. As he stepped through the shattered metal corridor, he heard a sound, soft, weak, but unmistakably a voice. "Help." He froze. It wasn't human. The voice had that melodic, echoing tone the Varelians were known for. Ryan raised his plasma rifle instantly, scanning the area. The voice came again, weaker this time. "Please help me." Against his better judgment, Ryan followed the sound. He found the source beneath a large piece of fallen armor plating. There, half buried in debris, was a Varelian woman, her armor cracked, her glowing blue veins fading dimly. Her silver skin was pale, almost gray, and her breath came in short, shallow gasps. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with pain and disbelief. The faint crest on her armor carried the royal mark, the symbol of the Varelian Empire. Ryan's mind froze for a moment. A princess, here, dying on the battlefield. He could end the war by ending her life. One pull of the trigger and humanity might gain an advantage beyond measure. But when she whispered again, her voice broke. "Please, don't let me die alone." Something in her tone cut through the noise in his head. She wasn't an enemy right now. She was just a dying being asking for help. He lowered his weapon slowly and knelt beside her. "You're bleeding too much," he said quietly. His voice was tired, steady, as he pulled open his med pack. The AI in his helmet warned, "Species not compatible. Recommended action. Terminate." Ryan ignored it. He used the last of his field bandages, sealing her wounds. But the scan showed internal damage, severe blood loss. Her alien blood glowed faintly blue, spilling over his gloves. She tried to move her hand but couldn't. "Human, why are you helping me?" He looked at her. "Because no one deserves to die like this. Not even you." She closed her eyes, her expression unreadable. "You don't understand. I am not allowed to be saved by human hands. My people would see me as impure." Ryan shook his head. "Then they'll have to be angry later. Right now, you need blood." He checked his suit's data. Her biology wasn't identical to human, but there was enough similarity in the oxygen-carrying cells. A transfusion might work, or it could kill them both. The AI spoke again. "Warning. Risk of contamination and death." And sighed. "Noted." He tore the connecting tube from his arm interface, plugged it into the emergency transfusion port on her armor, and activated the manual pump. His blood began to flow toward her. At first, nothing happened. Her vitals stayed low, her breathing shallow. Then her body started to glow faintly, a strange warm light pulsing under her skin, traveling up her veins like tiny rivers of red and blue intertwining. Her eyes opened slightly, glowing brighter. "What are you doing?" "Keeping you alive," he said simply. The process lasted minutes, though it felt like hours. Ryan's vision started to blur. His strength faded, but he didn't stop. When her pulse finally stabilized, he disconnected the line and sealed the ports. The princess stared at him, tears of light forming at the corners of her eyes. "You gave me your life," she whispered. He forced a faint smile. "You'll have to give it back someday." Then he passed out. When Ryan woke again, everything was quiet. The bunker ceiling was cracked and faint light seeped through. His body ached, his suit's power almost gone. Then he noticed her sitting beside him, awake, breathing steadily. Her armor had repaired itself partially, its blue lines glowing faintly red now. She looked at him with an unreadable expression. "You should not have done that," he groaned, trying to sit up. "Yeah, I get that a lot." "I mean it," she said softly. "Sharing blood between our kinds? It's forbidden. It links life force. You risked your death. For me," he met her gaze. "Would you have done the same?" She hesitated. Then quietly, "I don't know." Her name, she told him later, was Alira Varel, first heir to the Varelian throne. She had come to the front lines to prove her courage, but her ship was shot down. The crash killed her guards and left her stranded. As Ryan listened, he couldn't help but notice something strange he felt, connected to her. When she moved, a faint echo pulsed in his chest. When she spoke, he could feel her emotions faintly but clearly, as if her heartbeat and his were synchronized. He didn't say anything. He told himself it was just fatigue or blood loss, or the weird air of this cursed moon. But somewhere deep inside, he knew it wasn't normal. Hours passed as they gathered what little supplies remained: broken rations, water filters, a flare gun. They had to move before night came again. Scifi wasn't just dangerous for soldiers. The radiation storms could tear through armor like paper. Alira insisted on walking, even though her body was still weak. "I owe you my life," she said. "But I will not slow you down. You're already slowing me down," he teased, helping her stand. She gave him a small, almost confused look. Her kind didn't understand humor easily. Yet after a moment, she smiled faintly. The first time he'd seen something soft on her proud alien face. They began their slow journey across the ruins. The ground was littered with burned vehicles and the bones of machines. Every few steps, Ryan's scanner pinged movement nearby. At one point, a Varelian scout drone passed overhead. Ryan quickly pulled her under cover, wrapping his cloak over her silver skin to hide the glow. The drone's red eye scanned the area, then flew off. When the danger passed, Alira looked up at him. "You are risking your life for me again." "Why?" he shrugged. "Because that's what humans do. We don't leave people behind, even enemies." She asked softly. He paused. "Especially enemies. That's what makes us human." She didn't answer, but her eyes softened, and for the first time, she didn't look at him as a creature from a lesser world. As night approached, they found an old supply shelter built into the rocks. Ryan sealed the entrance, set a small heat generator, and collapsed beside it. His breathing was heavy, his energy drained. Alira watched him silently. "Your blood." "It changed me," she said. He opened one eye, confused. "Changed you?" "Yes," she whispered. "I can feel your heartbeat. When you hurt, I sense it. When you move, I feel it. Your life is inside me." He sat up slowly, uneasy. "That's not possible," she shook her head. "In Varelian tradition, blood is sacred. It carries spirit and memory. When it is shared, it binds to souls." Ryan frowned. "So you're saying we're connected?" "Yes," she said simply. "And now, whatever happens to one of us, will happen to the other." He looked away, staring at the small flame flickering between them. "That's unbelievable," she tilted her head. "It is forbidden, but it is real." Silence filled the bunker. Outside, the winds of Erisfor howled like a dying beast. Inside, two former enemies sat side by side, bound by something neither fully understood. Ryan finally broke the silence. "When morning comes, we'll try to reach the ridge. There's a human beacon station there. If it's still working, we can call for help. And if your people find me," she asked quietly. He hesitated. "We'll deal with that when it happens." She studied him for a long moment, then nodded. You are strange, human. You fight without hate. You give without reason. He smiled faintly. And you're not what I expected either. Her gaze softened. Perhaps that is why fate brought us here. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. His body ached, but it wasn't just from wounds. Every time Alira stirred, he felt a faint echo, a rhythm in his chest that wasn't his own. He looked at her resting form, the faint glow of her veins mixing red and blue light. It was beautiful and unsettling at the same time. The AI in his helmet whispered quietly. Unidentified physiological link detected. Recommend immediate disconnection. Ryan sighed. Too late for that. He turned off the AI and closed his eyes. Outside, the storm raged. Inside, in that quiet bunker, two lives, once enemies, now shared the same heartbeat. And somewhere beyond the horizon, their link began to send ripples across the invisible network of Varelian sensors orbiting the moon in distant space. A royal ship picked up a strange reading, one that matched the princess's signature, but tainted with human bioenergy. The search for her would begin at dawn. The first light of Erisfor's twin suns peeked over the jagged horizon, spilling pale gold across the broken landscape. Inside the bunker, Ryan Cole stirred. His muscles ached from the blood he had given, but he pushed himself upright. Every movement reminded him of the strange link with the Varelian princess Alira, whose glowing veins now pulsed with a mix of human red and alien blue. She was awake, sitting cross-legged beside the small heat generator. Her silver skin reflected the morning light, shimmering softly while her glowing veins seemed to dance with energy. Her eyes locked on him. You moved in your sleep, she said. I felt it. In me? Ryan rubbed his jaw, yawning. I felt something too, like your heartbeat was inside my chest. She nodded. Our bond is real. Your blood carries more than life. It carries energy, and now part of me carries part of you. He frowned. So, we're connected. Permanently. Yes, she said softly. I don't know how deep it goes yet, but every pulse, every pain, every emotion can travel between us. Ryan swallowed. The thought was dizzying. He had fought against aliens for years, but nothing had prepared him for this. Not for the way he could sense her fatigue when she rose, or her fear when she looked at the horizon. Outside, the winds whipped across the barren terrain. Dust and debris hissed as they moved past jagged rock formations. Ryan grabbed his suit, checking the armor panels and weapons he had managed to scavenge from the battlefield. Alira stood beside him, trying to flex her limbs. Your strength, he said, noticing her recovering quickly. You're healing fast. Yes, she replied. Faster than I should. Your blood. It accelerated my body's recovery. I can feel it. And it is not like any healing I knew before. Adasuta. Ryan shook his head. This is unbelievable. You're part human now, in a way I never expected. She looked at him, a mixture of awe and uncertainty in her eyes. And you, human? You feel something new too, don't you? He nodded. Do. When you move, I feel it. When you hurt, I feel it. It's like my body is aware of yours. And it's not just physical. I sense your emotions. Your fear, your curiosity, even your confusion. They had become strangers linked by blood, yet somehow intimately connected. It was a bond that neither of them fully understood. But for now, survival came first. The bunker was cold, but it provided shelter long enough for them to plan their next move. Ryan's scanner had detected a distant human beacon station. Those signals were weak, and the equipment might have been damaged by the earlier battle. If they could reach it, he could call for rescue, but doing so meant traveling across open terrain, exposing them to hostile scouts from both sides. We have to move, he said. If either side finds us here, we won't survive. Lyra nodded. I can walk now, she said. But I feel different. My energy. It flows strangely. It is stronger, but I cannot control it fully yet. Ryan glanced at her veins, glowing faintly red and blue. We'll figure it out together, he said. The journey was slow. Every step on Erisfor's rocky surface was treacherous. Ryan's boots slipped on loose stones, while Alira's silver skin reflected the harsh sunlight. But her recovery amazed him. She walked without faltering, even after nearly dying the day before. As they traveled, the bond between them became more noticeable. Ryan realized that when he thought of danger, Alira reacted instantly, ducking or shifting as if she had already felt it before he even moved. Likewise, when she focused on navigating a tricky path, he found his body instinctively aligning with hers. At one point, Ryan froze. A faint ripple in the energy field ahead indicated movement. Alira stiffened beside him. They had no weapons left, only a few survival tools, but instinctively, their linked senses allowed them to detect an approaching patrol from both human and Varelian forces. Ryan whispered, "We'll need to hide." He ducked behind a large slab of rock. Through the corner of his eye, he saw her pulse, the soft glow of her veins shifting, almost communicating with him. He could sense her focus, her heartbeat synchronizing with his own. The patrol passed without noticing them. Ryan exhaled slowly, leaning back against the rock. This bond? It saved us. Alira nodded, but her expression was troubled. It saved us once, but every time we move, our life signs are linked. If they find us, both our people will see it as a betrayal. Ryan's jaw tightened. Then we need to be careful. More careful than ever. The day grew hotter, and the landscape of jagged cliffs and craters offered little cover. They took shelter under a broken metal canopy, eating what little rations remained. As they rested, Ryan noticed another strange effect of their bond. Every time he ate, he could feel energy flowing to her. When she drank water, he felt it nourish him. They were sustaining each other in ways neither fully understood. Ryan began, unsure how to explain it. It's like your life is part of mine, and mine is part of yours. Yes, Alira whispered. I feel it too. I sense your heartbeat, your thoughts, your exhaustion, but it is more than that. Sometimes I can sense your intention. If you reach for danger, I feel the warning. If you are calm, I feel peace. Ryan rubbed his temple. Unbelievable, but useful. We can use this to survive. And more, Alira said softly. Perhaps we can even end the war without more bloodshed. But we must understand this bond first. As evening fell, the sky turned a deep violet, streaked with the light of distant stars. They had reached the edge of a plateau that overlooked the ruins of the human beacon station. It was partially destroyed. But Ryan hoped the main transmitter still worked. Before moving forward, they set up a small perimeter. Alira's energy field pulsed faintly, sensing the environment around them. Ryan realized that her bond with him now extended to instinctual awareness. She could anticipate dangers almost before they appeared. Your senses, he said, watching her. You're like superhuman. She smiled faintly, though it was tinged with worry. It is not control yet. I can feel everything, but I cannot stop it from overwhelming me. Your blood gave me strength, but also this connection. It is as much a burden as it is a gift. Ryan nodded. Then we'll learn together. As night fully settled, strange lights appeared on the horizon. Patrol ships from both human and Varelian sides scouted the area. Ryan and Alira remained hidden, their pulse and energy low to avoid detection. Yet the closer they drew, the more their link seemed to vibrate with tension. It's too close, Alira whispered. If they see me, they will attack immediately. If they see you, they will question why you're with me. Ryan put a hand on her shoulder. Then we move at night. Low, slow, and together. We survive, and that's all that matters right now. They waited until the patrols had moved away, then began their descent to the ruined station. The moon's surface was sharp and treacherous, but their bond guided them. Ryan noticed that every step was synchronized. When he stumbled, Alira instinctively adjusted. When she was weak, he felt it and supported her. Finally, they reached the beacon station. The building was half collapsed, its main antennas twisted and sparking. Ryan ran diagnostics. Some power still exists. Maybe enough to send a short-range signal. Alira watched him work. If your people find me, will they forgive this? This bond? This connection? He paused, I don't know. But right now, survival is more important than politics. We make it through the night, then we figure out the rest. Hours passed. Ryan repaired the transmitter as best he could, while Alira used her new abilities to sense danger approaching. Their bond, once frightening, had become a tool for survival. Together, they could anticipate threats, heal faster, and act in perfect synchrony. Finally, the transmitter hummed to life. Ryan sent a short coded message. Survivors. Need extraction? Coordinates transmitted. Human and Varelian ally. Alira looked at him, eyes wide. You called me an ally? He smiled faintly. I think we are more than that now. Whatever this bond is, it makes us stronger together. Outside, distant lights blinked as ships approached. Rescue could arrive soon, but neither Ryan nor Alira knew if their people would accept the truth. Would they see them as heroes or as traitors? The first rays of dawn hit the horizon. Ryan and Alira stood side by side, their bond glowing faintly as the suns rose. They had survived together. They had formed a link no one else could break. And somewhere deep in the universe, both human and Varelian eyes were turning toward them, curious, suspicious, and fearful. But for now they were alive. And their story, the story of a human warrior and a dying alien princess, connected by blood, had only just begun. The twin sons of Erisfor climbed higher into the sky, casting pale light across the shattered terrain. Ryan Cole stood beside Alira Virel, the Varelian princess who now glowed faintly red and blue from the shared blood that had linked their life forces. They had survived the night, evaded patrols, and sent a signal that could bring help. Yet neither of them felt relief. Rescue would arrive soon, but how would their people react? The human command might see Ryan's actions as betrayal. The Varelians might see Alira as dishonored for receiving human blood. Every step they took now could ignite a war far greater than the one that had left Erisfor in ruins. Ryan's gaze swept the horizon. Small human and Varelian ships were approaching, their searchlights scanning the ground. He felt a ripple through the bond. Alira's fear and uncertainty mingled with his own determination. We have to face them, he said quietly. There's no more hiding, Alira nodded. Together then, as the ships landed, both sides sent patrols forward. Humans in their sleek armor and Varelians in silver-plated suits approached cautiously. Their weapons were drawn, but Ryan and Alira stepped out from the shelter. They were both clearly alive, unharmed, and, more importantly, linked. Alira's glowing veins pulsed visibly, a mix of human red and alien blue. Her energy field shimmered faintly in the heat of the sun. The soldiers stopped, confused. None had ever seen this before. A young Varelian officer shouted, Princess Alira, you survived. But how? Ryan stepped forward, his chest straight. She survived because of me, he said plainly. Because I chose to help her. No one else could do it. No one else would, the Varelians gasped. Among their species, sharing blood with a human was forbidden, an act of dishonor. Their eyes widened as they saw the pulse of energy connecting the two. Alira raised her hand slightly. It is true, she said. I was dying. He gave me his blood. It saved my life. And now, our fates are linked, a murmur ran through the crowd. Humans and Varelians alike stared at the two. Some humans looked unsure. Would their captain be punished for aiding an enemy? Others were silent, sensing the power emanating from Alira. Ryan glanced at Alira. We are not enemies anymore, he said. We have a bond. And this bond shows something important. Life is more important than politics, more important than old wars. If we cannot see that, then everything we fight for is meaningless. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled. Alira's energy field flared, bright and strong. She could sense the fear and hesitation of both sides. It was as if her body had absorbed the fear and uncertainty around her, converting it into raw energy. Stop, she shouted. Do not move. Look at us. What you see is not a weapon. It is proof humans and Varelians can survive together. We can stop the fighting without more death. What I wait, water to win, water we will win. Why were I will win. I will win. What I will we can I cry. Her energy flowed into him, making his own heartbeat feel faster, sharper, alive. He realized something extraordinary. Together, they were not just linked; they were a force, not a weapon of war, but a beacon of possibility. A Varelian captain stepped forward cautiously. Princess. This is unnatural. Sharing blood with a human? The energy. It could be dangerous. Lyra shook her head. It is not dangerous. It is life. It is proof that what we fear may be the key to survival, to unity. Your weapons are unnecessary. Your anger is unnecessary. Ryan stepped closer, his voice calm and commanding. Both sides have fought too long. We've lost friends, worlds, and too many lives. But here, right now, we have a chance to change everything. We don't need more killing. We need understanding. The soldiers hesitated. Some lowered their weapons, unsure of what they were witnessing. The Varelians were wary, but they sensed the truth in Alira's voice. Ryan's calm courage, combined with her glowing energy and undeniable presence, made them question the very orders they had followed for years. Alira's veins pulsed brighter, a rhythmic glow that seemed to resonate with Ryan's own heartbeat. Together, their bond was visible, tangible proof that their connection could transcend species, traditions, and war. She spoke again, her voice gentle but commanding. We are proof that life is stronger than hate, that bonds can exist even between those who are enemies. Let this be the start of something new. Some human soldiers whispered to each other, amazed. Is it possible? That the princess isn't just alive, but changed? Others watched as Ryan extended a hand toward Alira. She took it, and their linked energy flared briefly, illuminating the faces of humans and Varelians alike. The shock was evident. No one had seen such a thing. Two individuals from warring species, alive, linked, and unharmed. Hours later, a temporary ceasefire was declared. Leaders from both sides were called to the scene, curious and cautious. Ryan and Alira stood together, their bond now fully visible. Reports of the miraculous survival spread quickly across communication channels. Diplomats, generals, and advisors approached. They asked questions. How did this happen? Could it be replicated? Was it safe? Alira answered simply, it is not a weapon, it is life. And it proves that our species do not have to fight. We can exist together, share knowledge, and preserve life rather than destroy it. Ryan added, it started with a choice. I could have walked away. I could have let her die. But I didn't. Life is more valuable than fear. More valuable than pride. That is the human way. And now, maybe it can be our shared way. Over the next days, Ryan and Alira became central figures in peace negotiations. Their bond was studied, understood, and respected. Both human and Varelian scientists realized that the transfusion had not only saved Alira, but awakened latent abilities in her species. Energy manipulation, rapid healing, and instinctual awareness were now observable. But more importantly, the moral lessons spread faster than the science. Empathy, courage, and selflessness could change the course of entire wars. Ryan's choice to give his blood had shown everyone, human and Varelian alike, that even a single act of kindness could ripple across the galaxy. Alira's role was equally important. Her willingness to accept help from a human and to publicly declare the truth bridged centuries of fear and prejudice. She became a symbol of unity. One evening, after negotiations had ended for the day, Ryan and Alira stood on the edge of a cliff overlooking Scifi. The twin suns set behind them, casting long shadows over the cratered landscape. "Do you think they will truly accept it?" Ryan asked quietly. Alira looked at him, her glowing veins pulsing softly. "They will, because they saw it with their own eyes. They cannot deny what they witnessed. But it is more than that. They will see that courage and life are stronger than fear. That is something every being can understand." Ryan smiled faintly. "I never expected to be a hero. I just wanted to help." "You're a hero," she said simply. "Not just because you saved my life, but because you showed the truth that life, kindness, and courage are worth more than victory in war." He looked at her. Realizing something incredible, their bond was no longer just a connection of blood. It had grown into mutual respect, understanding, and perhaps even trust, the rarest currency in a galaxy at war. Alira's voice was quiet but steady. "Ryan, what happened between us? It is more than survival. It is proof that humanity, your courage, can inspire change, even in the hearts of those who once saw you as an enemy." Ryan nodded. "Then let's make sure that change spreads." Weeks later, peace talks concluded. A tentative alliance formed between humans and Verelians. Both species had suffered, but now they had a chance to rebuild together. Ryan was commended for his bravery, not just for combat, but for an act of unprecedented moral courage. Alira returned to her people, no longer just a princess, but a symbol of unity and hope, even across the stars. Tales of the human warrior who gave his blood to a dying alien princess spread like wildfire. Children, soldiers, and leaders all whispered the story, how one small act of selflessness had changed the course of history, and though Ryan and Alira would eventually return to their duties, their bond remained a living reminder that empathy, courage, and life itself could overcome even the deepest hatred at night. When the moons of Eris-4 rose, Ryan often thought of her. Across the galaxy, she felt the same. Their lives were linked forever, not just by blood, but by trust, respect, and a shared understanding that nothing, not war, not fear, could break the connection they had formed. Somewhere, beyond the stars, the humans and the Verelians looked at each other with new hope, and it all began with a human warrior's choice to give his blood to a dying alien princess.